You picked the right night to tune in because, as you can probably guess, tonight is our fright-filled Halloween episode. We're covering memorable horror movie moments, venting about Halloween movie cliches, and recommending Halloween films that are suitable for the whole family.
So grab your candy corn and settle in because the real deal starts now.
Hello, and welcome to The Real Deal, Ball State's spine-tingling entertainment news and movie review show. I'm Andrew Bennett.
And I'm Kayli Russell. Spine tingling?
Come on, it's the Halloween episode. We gotta give the audience what they want.
Okay. I'll bring it. Let's see what kind of mayhem is brewing in Hollywood at the moment. Here with Hollywood headlines is Romelle Taday. Take it away, Romelle.
After 3 years of super snarky Ricky Gervais hosting the Golden Globes, NBC has enlisted two not-so-mean girls to take over. 30 Rock's Tina Fey and Parks and Recreation's Amy Poehler will co-host the Hollywood Foreign Press Association's 70th Annual Film and TV Awards on January 13th, ensuring that everyone in attendance will have a bully-free pulpit. The show will reunite the longtime BFFs and the stars of NBC's Thursday night lineup, who formerly share a desk on Saturday Night Live's Weekend Update and also co-starred in 2008's Baby Mama. In fact, that may be part of the gig's appeal. As Faye told EW in a recent interview, "I realize I see Amy Poehler in the most when we're working together." The move also bucks the trend of hiring envelope-pushing ceremony host. The Globes as a must-see TV? Tina, this is not the way to tank NBC. Actor and football star Alex Karras, the best known as the lovable father on 80s sitcom Webster, died on October 10th at his Los Angeles home after a lengthy battle with kidney and heart disease, dementia, and stomach cancer. Karras was one of the 3,500 former players suing the NFL over treatment of health issues caused by repeated head injuries. Karras landed roles in beloved classics like 1974's Blazing Saddles, as he played the hilariously brutish brawler, Mongo, and 1982's Victor Victoria. He switched out hard tackles for heartfelt hugs as Emmanuel Lewis's adoptive father on Webster. Debuting in 1983, the series became a bona fide pop culture phenomenon, running for 6 seasons and revealing a surprisingly soft side to Karras. And when TV execs say they want to bring the classics, they aren't always talking about the old shows like The Munsters. 2 drama scripts are in the works for fall 2013 that are using Charles Dickens's Great Expectations as source material. ABC recently bought Legacy from producer Deborah Martin Chase, which is described as a soapy modern reimagining of the 19th century novel. While Reese Witherspoon's production company is behind a script at the CW dubbed Expectations, which follows a girl whose life in San Francisco gets a boost from an anonymous benefactor. Both of these projects are just at the script stage and may not make it to the series, but if they don't work out, we hear this Dickens guy has a lot of other ideas.
Thanks, Romelle. I'm definitely on board with a Baby Mama reunion at the Globes, although I'm going to miss Ricky Gervais' snarky digs at all the celebrities.
Me too. However, let's not dwell on what could have been. Instead, let's continue with the holiday festivities by looking to the future of showbiz with our next segment, Casting Call. Here with the latest casting news is Nick Ewing. What do you got for us, Nick?
He told us he'd be back, and apparently he wasn't lying. It seems the Governator himself is set to return to his role that launched his career from bodybuilder to movie star playing Conan the Barbarian. It's been a long time since we've seen Arnold play as Conan, though. 30 years to be exact if the movie comes out in 2014 like it's supposed to. I wonder what they'll call this installment. Conan the Elderly? No one wants to see Arnold now running around in a loincloth. Who knows with movie technology now, though? They might just use like special effects to place his head on his 1980s body from the original films. Producer Chris Morgan, who wrote the screenplay for the last 3 Fast and Furious movies and Wanted, might be writing the new Conan flick, but nothing is set in stone yet. So far, no director has been chosen. Let's just hope it's better than last year's Conan film. God help us all, it looks like Adam Sandler's gonna try to make another funny movie. Apparently, the comedic veteran is set to star, write, and produce the comedy western Ridiculous Six, which is a riff on the classic western The Magnificent Seven. We can only hope it will be half as funny as Jack and Jill. Not much else is known about the film at this time, though, and no director has been chosen yet. Patrick Wilson, Matt Bomer, Liv Tyler, and Jerry O'Connell have wrapped production on Space Station 76, a dramatic comedy set in a space station set in the future as seen from the 70s. Sounds like a pretty funny premise for a comedy to me. Wilson is set to star as the station's emotionally unstable captain, with Tyler playing as the second in command, who likes to challenge his authority and rock the boat a bit. The independent film features writing and a directorial debut of Jack Plotnick, perhaps best known from his role as Deputy Mayor Alan Finch on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I can't think of any good space comedies that have come out recently, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one. It looks like Johnny Depp is in talks to star in Transcendence, the directorial debut of A-list cinematographer Wally Feister of The Dark Knight Rises, Moneyball, and Inception. Apparently, the plot is top secret, but we can assume it won't involve any pirates or creepy undead stuff. First-time screenwriter Jack Poglin wrote the script. At least we know the film will look good. Comedian Cat Williams has joined the cast of Scary Movie 5 in an unspecified starring role. He joins Lindsay Lohan, Mike Tyson, Charlie Sheen, Heather Locklear, Kate Walsh, and Ashley Tisdale. Director Malcolm Lee is taking on the project for the first time, but the script will be written by David Zucker, who directed the last two Scary movies.
Thanks, Nick. It's time for our first break. When we return, Aidan Hall is back with a spooky Halloween edition of Top 5. You may want to keep your lights on. Things could get a little scary.
Speaking of scary, check out this weekend's box office report. Cloud Atlas debuting with less than $10 million, and after its huge marketing campaign, it's scary how much I want to laugh right now. Stick around.
And I will kill them too.
Oh my God!
I believe there is another world waiting for us, a better world. And I'll be waiting for you there.
Your dad's really starting to like me. Hi.
Hotel Transylvania.
Welcome back. Who could forget the famous slasher shower scene in Psycho, or Samara crawling out of the television in The Ring?
Ooh, or how about Drew Barrymore's slashed up body dangling from a tree in Scream, or that dude from The Princess Bride cutting off his foot in Saw, or
Whoa. I think we might be stealing some of Aidan's thunder. Speaking of which, Aidan Hall is here with the most memorable Halloween movie moments. Take it away, Aidan.
Good evening, ghosts and ghouls. Throughout the years, there have been moments in horror films that have given us all quite a fright. However, there have been some real gems of the spook and scare variety, and I shall be reviewing them tonight. So settle in, all you monsters, and tuck your little goblins in. We're going on a midnight train ride to Spooksdale. Number 5, Count Orlok's Awakening and Nosferatu. What horror movie list would be complete without the mention of such a ghastly classic? Yes, the first vampire movie ever made way back in 1922, based upon Bram Stoker's Dracula, houses one of the spookiest of scenes. The scene where Count Orlok slowly rises and his shadow creeps upon the staircase to his victim's room sends chills down all mortal spines. While no sparkling vampire has done this scene justice, it is with this inspiration that has sparked the vampire craze. And what better way to hate Edward than to love Count Orlok? Number 4. Jack Nicholson's axe scene in The Shining. Nothing is scarier than a man's descent into insanity. And in Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, based off the book by Stephen King, Jack Nicholson doesn't disappoint as the cabin-crazy Jack Torrance. And what better scene to show just how insane Jack had been driven to than the axe scene where he chops the door down and sticks his head in and says, "Here's Johnny." The scariest monsters are always humans, and Jack Nicholson shows this ghoulishly. Number 3, the ending of Friday the 13th. Back in 1980, a group of teenagers try and reopen a deserted campsite, only to find themselves being picked off one by one by the evil, deformed murderer Jason. This hockey masked monster cleaves through each teenager, one after another, with his trusty machete. And when they finally figure out who the killer is and slay Mrs. Voorhees, our hero drifts slowly in a canoe out into the middle of the Camp Crystal Lake. And as she drifts, the great Jason emerges and pulls her under the water. When she awakens, she finds it was all a dream, but no body was ever found. This movie started an ageless franchise of slashers, and with Jason being one of the best movie monsters, it's no surprise this scene still makes mortals jump. Number 2, the 360 head turn in The Exorcist. When your daughter is possessed and Bill Murray is nowhere to be found, who do you call? Priests! Yes, in 1973, dear sweet little Reagan came down with a bad case of the possession, and her actress mother had to call out to the church to free her daughter from the devil. The priest began to try and exorcise the hoofed abomination from dear Reagan, but the demon taunts them and begins to spin Reagan's head in a 360 motion while vomiting pea soup. This iconic scene shows that no one is safe from the clutches of evil, and I hope, dear viewers, you keep your friends close and your possessed friends closer. Number 1, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from the Ghostbusters. We have seen some of the most evil creatures, but the truest evil is that feeds on your childhood. And as Dan Aykroyd looked out in terror in 1994 at the creamy monstrosity formed from the memories of campfires past, a truly deep-rooted evil emerged, the evil of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, who wreaked havoc upon the mighty city that never sleeps. And it was up to our group of heroes to save the day. When our heroes fired their great lasers into the immensely delicious creature of evil, it finally gave up the fight, and New York found itself covered in the marshmallow cream of victory. However, the memory of such a monster will forever be etched into all of our hearts. It's the most iconic horror scene in movie history, and I dare anyone to prove me wrong. So there you have it, dear viewers, my top 5 of the most memorable horror scenes in film. So all you monsters and monstettes, go out there and have a ghost of a time. I'm Count Hall, and this has been the Top 5.
Thanks, Aidan. It's almost time for another break, but before we cut out, first we'll give you our recommendation of the week. In honor of the spookiest, goriest, bloodiest of holidays, we would like to present to you Zombieland. In present-day America, a contaminated hamburger has created the largest zombie epidemic the world has ever seen. When an awkward nerd searching for his family meets a gun-toting zombie killer and 2 scheming sisters, the laughs and the blood splatter are non-stop.
Zombieland follows stars Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin as they begin a quest for family, an amusement park, and the last Twinkie on Earth. As Kayli mentioned, the movie is packed full of laughs, and possibly the greatest celebrity cameo ever. I won't give it away, but let's just say, if you want a ride of a cameo in your movie, who are you going to call? Well, I'll let you think that one over while we head over to break. Don't go anywhere.
Planet Earth, home to over 6 billion people. Today, our very existence is threatened by epidemics, climate change, and dwindling resources. But those are the least of our problems. Welcome to Zombieland.
My mother always told me, someday you'll be good at something. I mean, I don't think she could have guessed that something would be zombie killing. What do you think? Zombie kill of the week?
Close, but no cigar. Zombie kill of the week went to Miss Cynthia Knickerbocker.
Gotta enjoy the little things. These fellas really let themselves go.
Zombieland.
You guys want some Purell?
Yes.
Yeah.
I see you're brave enough to rejoin us. If horror films tend to scare the bejesus out of you, then you're in luck. Chauncey Baker is here with the rant that will open your eyes to the sheer cheesiness of the genre. Chauncey?
Seeing as Halloween is upon us, I feel that I should touch upon a very important issue of mine.
horror films. Yes, I realize that suspension of disbelief is required for most of these films. I mean, how many times can you kill Michael Myers? They put a bullet in his head, chop his head off, and nearly blow him to pieces using military-grade weapons. And the dude still manages to come back for the sequel. Besides the implausibility of horror flicks, the characters in them seem to have the intellect of small children. Take the original Halloween film, for example. Jamie Lee Curtis cries out for help the entire time in the movie in an empty house. I doubt anyone is going to hear you, and since it's Halloween, and the microscopic likelihood that someone actually does hear you, they aren't going to believe you. Another stupid aspect to her character as Laurie Strode is that she runs into a closet to hide from Michael Myers. Yes, while the scene is extremely intense and iconic, it still is incredibly ludicrous. Why I don't understand is why doesn't she just run out of the house and get the hell out of Dodge? Wouldn't that be much simpler? Yeah, I know, there wouldn't be any fun if she acted intelligently, but still. Another shining example from horror film vaults comes from any of the female characters in Friday the 13th. Did they learn how to walk? It seems like they always trip at the most convenient times when they're being stalked by Jason. It's ironic how the simple ability to being able to walk can mean a difference between life and having a machete through the skull. Also, having these characters learn to not go to shady summer camps with a dark history? Really, people, come on! Why do they always feel the need to go skinny dipping at midnight? Even in the real world, most people are smart enough not to do that, especially on foggy nights where the atmospheric signals serial killer. As for any horror films, when will these characters learn not to have sex in the most inconvenient locations? It's like, hey baby, this abandoned mine shaft is completely romantic, if you know what I mean. I like to call this simple rule in horror films the get naked and die rule. At least some characters have gained some intelligence throughout the years, the Scream series being a prime example, although I will point out that in the first film, Rose McGowan gets crushed by a garage door. Funny stuff. Leaving on that note, I'm Chauncey Baker, and this has been The Rant. I've also ruined horror films for everyone.
Thanks, Chauncey. Halloween doesn't have to be all ghosts and gore. Holly Wellman is here with a look at several holiday movies the whole family can enjoy without constantly covering their eyes. Take it away, Holly.
We all know what it means when Halloween comes around. Dressing up, candy, and of course Halloween specials and movies on every channel. While a lot of Halloween movies feature gory slashers and terrifying possessions, there are plenty of family-friendly films that everyone in the family can watch. One of the classics, and of course family favorites, is It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. This special follows the Peanuts gang as they prepare for trick-or-treating and Halloween fun. Linus waits in the pumpkin patch for the Great Pumpkin, while the rest go trick-or-treating. And of course, Snoopy continues with his usual shenanigans. Overall, this is a lighthearted classic that anyone in the family can enjoy. Another great movie to watch during this time of year is Tim Burton's classic, The Nightmare Before Christmas, where Jack Skellington grows tired of Halloween and tries to control Christmas instead. With its wonderful music and unique characters, the movie is a spooky must. Young children be warned, some may find the movie too frightening due to the very spooky characters. But if animation isn't really your thing, and witches are, look for Hocus Pocus. After 3 witches were executed during the Salem witch trials, they returned 300 years later on Halloween to exact their revenge. With their magic book of spells gone, they only have one night to live, so they chase after the kids who have taken it. Though some may find this movie to be a bit too creepy for some children, this movie will not disappoint if you are looking for creepy witches and danger around every turn. If you've already seen these movies and you want something new to watch, go to your local movie theater and get tickets to see Hotel Transylvania, starring Adam Sandler, Andy Samberg, and Selena Gomez. Check into this hotel exclusively made for monsters and watch the mayhem unfold when a human not only discovers it, but also starts to fall in love with Dracula's daughter. Full of plenty of laughs, this animated comedy will get the whole family into the Halloween mood. While there are literally hundreds of different kid-friendly Halloween specials and films, my personal favorite is that of Tim Burton's The Corpse Bride, which was released in 2005. Like The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Corpse Bride features a unique soundtrack and uses stop-motion film. It's about a young man who accidentally proposes to a dead girl and gets whisked away to the land of the dead. I really enjoy this film because it has just the right amount of romance while still being a fairly creepy movie. So after trick-or-treating this year, consider grabbing one of these classics in your bag of candy and enjoy the Halloween spirit. Happy Halloween, everyone!
Great scoop, Holly. Time for our last break, but when we return, Andrew and I will deliver the most unsettling final word of the season. So come back, if you dare.
I'm trying to save your life.
What life?
We're gonna start fire!
Brace for impact. No one could have landed that plane like I did.
Well, let's close out with the bad guy affirmation. I am bad.
And that's good. I will never be good.
No.
And that's not bad.
Hold that thought.
There's no one I'd rather be than me.
Welcome back. As promised, Kayli and I will present our Halloween edition of Final Word. Kayli, after you.
I will be the first to admit that I am a scaredy cat when it comes to horror flicks. But every October I gather what little courage I have to fully enjoy Halloween and all of its spookiness. I love to watch the paranormal marathons on TV. I love Ghost Hunters International, A Haunting, and Fact or Faked Paranormal Files. Curling up under the covers in bed watching shows with ghosts, aliens, and other supernatural beings is the best way to spend an October evening. Most of these shows aren't real, but I don't care. They still manage to scare me because in those 45 minutes I lose all sense of reality and enjoy a world in which the sound of ghostly footsteps indicates a demon nearby. I only watch these guilty pleasure shows in October, so I enjoy every minute of the paranormal doing what it does best, scaring the crap out of people.
Instead of expressing my anticipation for an upcoming film, I am going to recommend one that was released before I was born. Hopefully you are all familiar with the Friday the 13th series. If not, then there's still a pretty good chance you are familiar with its hockey mask killer, Jason Voorhees. He's a crowd favorite come trick-or-treating season. Friday the 13th, The New Blood is the 7th entry in the series, and my Uncle Jeff Bennett played Eddie, the sci-fi writing nerd. He spends most of the movie rambling about his story ideas, and he is responsible for some of the film's only true laughs. One of which involves telling a girl who rejected him that he has been rejected by some of the finest science fiction magazines in the world, so her dismissal doesn't hurt. You tell her, Uncle Jeff. BloodyDisgusting.com actually listed him as one of the top nerds in the entire series. He is also one of the film's final kills, which means he's sort of the alpha and the omega of Friday the 13th nerds. The plot of the film is generally more supernatural than the others, as it involves a girl with telekinetic powers, who eventually faces off with Jason in the bloody climax. The best way I can describe this plot is Jason versus Carrie. New Blood may not be the most popular or critically acclaimed of the series, but it is definitely a fun way to spend a late October evening.
And that's it for us this week. Be sure to check out our Facebook and Twitter pages for updates on all things entertainment. Join us again next time, same place. Till next week, I'm Kayli Russell.
And I'm Andrew Bennett. Have a safe and happy Halloween.
They did the mash.
They did the monster mash.
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
They did the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
They did the mash.
It did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, oh, we're digging the sounds. He got on chains backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive.